I'm grateful today that I know that God loves us and He cares for us. I was just reflecting on 1 Kings, the 19th chapter. It's a time when the great prophet Elijah finds himself out in the wilderness having a bit of a pity party. And this particular translation says that when he was there, he said, "I've had enough, Lord. Take my life. I'm no better than my ancestors." Then he laid down under the tree and fell asleep. I've had enough. What encouraged me about that is that God loved Elijah. Even while Elijah was saying, "I've had enough," he tried to convince God he was the only one left. And I can just see him with that big old pouty face, angry at God, self-pity just knee-deep, saying, "God, I've had enough." I love what happens next. It says he lay down under a tree, fell asleep. All at once, an angel touched him and said, "Get up and eat." He looked around, and there by his head was some bread baked over hot coals and a jar of water. He ate and drank, and then he laid down again. See, right after he laid down asleep, an angel, which, if you study really the meaning of angel, it's a messenger of God. A messenger sent by God. And the messenger that was sent by God tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Got fresh bread." Well, you can read it any way you want to, but I believe there's a little pot of honey butter right beside the bread. It's my imagination. Get off me. With a spatula, not a little knife, but a spatula. God tapped him on the shoulder and said, "I know you're mad. I know you're pouting. I heard what you said. But what I want to say to you is I still love you. I still love you." That's encouraging, isn't it? That's encouraging. And I know no one here's ever pouted. I know none of you, but there are people out there that need to hear this. I know you've never had any self-pity. You've never felt sorry for yourself. And you've never said, "I'm the only one." But just in case you have this morning, when you do that, God says, "I still love you." And I'm glad to know that. I'm glad to know that God still sends messengers. And you know what? God sent a whole stage full of messengers this morning with a message to you to say that God loves you. God is your sword. He's your shield. He's your protector. He's your comforter. He loves you. And they sang to us this morning as we joined with them, "I'm amazed, God, that you dance over me. You sing over me. You love me." Oh, how He loves us. Oh, how He loves us. Be encouraged this morning. Be encouraged this morning. If you're going through some stuff, because Elijah, let's not be mistaken, he was going through some stuff. He had a wicked queen that had vowed as surely as she was breathing that she was going to see to it that he was going to be killed and put to death. He had the leaders at that time saying, "We're going to find him, we're going to kill him." He was going through some stuff, but God poked him on the shoulder and said, "Eat some fresh bread." I hope today when you leave Heritage Fellowship, you will have eaten some fresh bread from God. That's my prayer for you today. My prayer for you today is that this is a loaf of bread hot off the coals that the Spirit of God has baked for you today. And that the Spirit of God, that you will leave this place today and say, "Wow, that was a fresh piece of bread that I had. And it had honey butter oozing off the side." And I hope that you leave with your head up saying, "God loves me. God loves me."